What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my first ever YouTube video on my first ever YouTube channel. Uh, I don't know really what I'm going to be doing with this channel or where this goes. I just thought I'd come on here and start freeballing a little bit. And today I thought I would tell some Reddit stories. Am I in the wrong? And just go from there. I might even throw in a couple of stories from my own time as a human being walking across this watery rock. But yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so the first story we got here is: am I in the wrong for refusing to move my bag when a mom asked me to do so her kids could sit down? I, 26 female, was on a fairly packed train ride home from work. I had a gym bag on the seat next to me because honestly, I was exhausted and didn't feel like squeezing next to someone when I had just finished a 10-hour shift and a workout. There were still some empty seats scattered around, but not many. At one of the stops, a mom with a little kid, probably 5 or 6, gets on. The mom looks around, sees my bag on the seat, and asks politely if I can move it so her son could sit next to me. Here's where it gets complicated. The kid could sit on her lap, which is what a lot of parents were doing because it was very busy. There was another single seat a few rows down, but I noticed the mom had a stroller and a bunch of bags, so sitting together would have been easier for her. I hesitated, but honestly, I was drained and I just didn't feel like giving up my buffer seat. So I told her, "Sorry, I'm really tired. I just need a bit of space right now." She looked at me like I was some kind of monster and said, "It's for my kid, not me." I shrugged, putting my headphones back on, and stared out the window. She ended up standing the whole ride, looking visibly annoyed, and a few other people shot me dirty looks. But no one else offered her a seat either. Now, part of me feels bad because, yeah, it is just a seat, but another part of me feels like I'm not required to inconvenience myself when there were technically other options. Am I in the wrong? I feel like for this one, there's no way you're not in the wrong here in this situation. Like a bag and you can't move it, so a mom can sit next to her kid. Like, come on. And I think the fact too that she goes over and says like, "Oh, it is just a seat." But like, I mean, I feel like there isn't really like a but after that. You just move the bag so the mom can sit next to her kid. But yeah, let me know what you think. So the next one we got here is: am I in the wrong for not telling my friend her boyfriend was at the bar because I didn't want to get involved? So this happened last weekend. I, 27 female, went out for drinks with some other coworkers at a bar from across town. It was not the kind of place my regular friends usually go, which is why I was surprised when I saw my friend's boyfriend there without her. Now, he wasn't doing anything obviously shady. He was with a group of guys, drinking, laughing, but at one point I thought I saw him talking kind of closely with the girl near the jukebox. Nothing physical, but definitely flirty vibes. Here's the thing: I've been friends with his girlfriend, Maya, for years, but I wouldn't call us best friends. The relationship has always been complicated. They break up, get back together, constant drama. I debated telling her, but honestly, I didn't want to get dragged into it. If I told her, I knew I'd turn it into the whole he said, she said thing, and somehow I'd end up the bad guy. So I stayed quiet. Fast forward 2 days later, she finds out he was there with someone else. She confronts me asking if I saw him and why I didn't say anything. I told her I did, but I didn't see him do anything for sure, and I didn't want to cause unnecessary drama based on assumptions. And now she's mad at me, saying a real friend would have given her a heads up. Some of our mutual friends are siding with her. Others say I did the right thing by not inserting myself. So, am I in the wrong for keeping my mouth shut? I think for sure on this one, it's a little bit gray because this is totally like such a well-known dilemma. I feel like if I was in this situation, I'd also be dependent on how close I am with this person, because like I'm not just gonna go to like an acquaintance and tell him like, "Yo, I think I saw your boyfriend, kicking it with another girl." But like, I don't really think. I think this is totally just gray. I think you could easily make an argument for either side on this one. But yeah, let me know what you think. Yo, and a quick little plug-in too. This is my game footage. This is my world I've been running on for like about a year while I've been attending high school, and I just graduated. But I just thought I'd throw this game footage up here in particular because I'm kind of, I don't want to brag or anything, but I spent some time on this world, and it's not professional, not for sure. But let me know if you think there's other gameplay I should throw up on here. I got a lot of video game experience under my belt. All right, on to the next one. This one's kind of funny because I actually have a story that's similar to this. But this is, am I in the wrong for not giving up my window seat on a flight to let a dad sit with his kid? So I, 29 male, was flying home last week on a 4-hour flight. I had specifically booked and paid extra for a window seat because I get a little anxious flying, and having the window helps me stay calm. When I got to my seat, there was a dad, maybe mid 30s, sitting there with his kid around 7 or 8 in the middle seat next to him. He asked me if I wouldn't mind switching seats with him so he could sit with his kid. His seat was a middle seat a few rows back. I politely said no, explained that I paid extra for the window and I really needed it for my own comfort. He got frustrated and said, "It's just a seat, man. You really can't let a dad sit with his own son." Other passengers started looking, and I could feel the judgment, but I stuck to my guns and told him I liked to sit where I booked. He muttered something under his breath, moved to his assigned seat, and I sat down. The flight attendants didn't get involved, but I could feel people quietly judging me the whole flight. The kid seemed fine sitting alone. It wasn't like he was a toddler or anything, but still, part of me feels like maybe I should have just sucked it up and moved. So am I in the wrong for keeping the seat I paid for, even if it meant splitting up a dad and his kid? I'm gonna come out here straight up and be a little controversial. I think the like societal pressure to move like seats for somebody else's convenience on an airplane is crazy. Like if you gotta pay extra to have a specific seat, there's no way that you have that like everyone else on the plane is like gonna together agree that like if someone else wants to take your seat that you should just get up and move for them if they have a good reason. It's like, man, like you pay for the seat that you want so that you can sit down in that seat that you paid for. So I think he is not in the wrong here for just taking the seat, like especially if he's like anxious on flights. Like I rather I rather not somebody be anxious on flights that needs to sit by a window seat, sit in between me and somebody else. You know what I mean? Like I rather him just be on the on the corner of the window seat so he doesn't get anxious next to me because I'm not trying to be stuck on a flight with somebody anxious the whole time. But that's just me though. I might as well tell the stories from my own personal experience too. So, one of my friends, let's just call her Jess. So she was taking a flight, and it was like a relatively long flight. Like I don't want to say like 6 hours, maybe it was like cross country flight, and she'd paid extra for the window seat because that's where she likes to sit. And as everyone's loading onto this plane and everything, she finally gets to her seat. It's like sort of towards the middle of the plane, so it was kind of like a it wasn't like the first seat that you saw on the plane. And when she got to her seat, she had told me that somebody else was already sitting in it. And when they turned around, they had a child with them, like a really small child, like a newborn child, like an infant, and was like, "Can I take your seat?" And as she turned around and asked that question to Jess, Jess could see that the child had like exploded his diaper in the seat that she was supposed to be sitting in. And it was already crazy enough that the lady was just taking her seat, but the fact that she just had the child as well, that was like sort of like proof, like, can I take your seat? Well, like I don't really want my seat anymore, is probably what Jess's reaction was, and it was honestly because she said, sure, reluctantly, of course, but like who else would? Why would you want to take that seat back anyway? And the window seat was like, all like the same sort of situation here where the window seat is kind of just where you want to be and you paid extra to have it. So, like, you just want to sit there and reluctantly having to give up your seat for another passenger because they have a good enough reason and you don't want to get like side eyed from the entire plane it's just crazy. But end of the story, Jess was able to find a seat by the window in the back of the plane. But, just uncomfortable ride, uncomfortable situation. Like, just sit in your seats. Stop taking other people's seats. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one sounds like it's going to be pretty good. So, am I in the wrong for reporting my coworker for being constantly late, even though I know she's a single mom? I, 31 female, work at a mid-sized marketing firm. One of my coworkers, Samantha, 28 female, started working about 6 months ago. She's a single mom with 2 young kids, and honestly, I respect how much she's juggling. But the thing is, she's late, like constantly. Sometimes by 10 minutes, sometimes by almost an hour. Our boss is pretty laid back, but the rest of us end up covering for her, handling her calls, rearranging meetings, staying up late to pick up the slack. At first, I didn't say anything because, well, life happens. But it's been 6 months and it's not getting better. Last week I had a project that needed her input, but she was late again. And it threw off my whole timeline. That's when I finally snapped and mentioned it to our manager. I didn't demand she got written up or anything. I just said it's affecting my work and I thought it should be addressed. Well, word got around that I was the one who brought it up. Samantha confronted me and said I should have came to her first, not gone to management. She said I had no idea what it's like trying to raise two kids and hold down a job, and I should have had some compassion. Some coworkers agree with me that work is work, and being constantly late affects everyone. Others think I could have handled it privately and cut her some slack, so am I the wrong for reporting her, even though I know she's struggling. I feel like this one is definitely in the gray area. I think that you could have came up and talked to her first, because, like, man, that's got to be tough trying to like juggle work and two kids. Like, holy, that's like a lot of responsibility. I got three pets, okay, and I could barely make it to school on time every day. So two kids in work and like trying to feed them, that's probably pretty nuts. All right, everyone, this is probably gonna wrap it up here. I had very high expectations for myself, and I was very ambitious and recorded 30 minutes of gameplay and was thinking I was about to come up here and talk for 30 minutes. But I spent about like 4 hours re-recording and re-recording and realized that, 10 minutes is enough. And so I think I'm gonna hop off here now. But thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this, if you're one of my friends out there, you're goated. And I will remember you when I make it to the top. But yeah, that's it, everyone. Thanks for watching.